with A/B testing, is it always just online, or can you do like the survey first and then make a better educated choice?
So any testing is good in marketing, digital marketing, and surveys are awesome because you get like information from customer bases. It's not technically called an A/B test, but I would never discourage anybody from doing any kind of survey. Just be considerate. Just be considerate. Like, just think of your own patterns as a consumer. Like, we almost always now have to kind of give somebody something if you're going to ask for their time to take a survey, and then just think about what you're asking of them. Like, it was seem too personal, or try to like what I like. There's a new tool recently on the market called Typeform. That's a surveying tool or a form building tool, and it's fun. It's kind of like you can do some engaging things, and like people's names can come up in the middle of it, and graphics. And I've been actually using that. I think that it just keeps people kind of going, because like in the middle of them taking a survey, like we'd ask silly questions, and their name would be like, "Oh, now Stephanie, what are you wearing?" Like kind of thing. So it's called Typeform. Typeform. But yeah, you just have to be considerate. It's a survey. Like, we've gotten so used to using like the survey monkeys, and yet again, you got to remember how much noise there is in the marketplace. So surveying is almost another place for good UX is really important. Like, you want people to just have a good experience while they're taking it, or at least be able to tell them what they're going to get. That you're going to give them something for taking it. So yeah, I would do something like that. And if you look at the tool's a little overwhelming when you first get into it, but I know it pretty well, so if you play around with it. Any other thoughts, questions? Okay, so tonight is about data visualization, and like we're going to look at Excel a little bit. I'm running off Microsoft with the latest version of Excel. My Mac people in the room, your buttons are going to be in different places, so I'm going to show you some things. Like, a lot of it should be sort of refresher stuff, maybe outside of a pivot table. How many of you had created a pivot table before I told you to look at that before? Awesome. Okay. Did you try to do it? Did you look at the video? Okay. All right. So what's going to happen is I'm going to just talk a little bit. The lessons is going to go like this. So I'm going to go through, how to create some of these things live. But again, considering it's from my screen, your button might not be in the same place. But ultimately, most of the class tonight is I'm actually going to give you a data set. You're going to get in groups of 3 or 4, probably 3 is our number tonight. And I'll give you a data set. It's actually my clients' data that pulled down into some spreadsheets. And you're going to look at the data and kind of go through a discovery process. Like, what would you tell this client? Or what are some things to look for? And then that exercise, what I want you to do is maybe try to create some charts, and if you get stuck in your group, then Jacqueline and I can come around and help you guys on a group level. But that's mostly what we're doing tonight, because some of this stuff tonight should be reviewed for most of you guys if you've worked in Excel before. All right, so let's get into it. So the objectives for the evening, so 5 basic statistical concepts to make data insightful, and describe how these apply to qualitative marketing, so basically taking unsummarized data and summarizing it and charting it. Understanding data visualization practices to communicate findings in a clear and concise way. Best practices for charting, for chart selection and how to create. And then apply Excel techniques and shortcuts commonly used by marketing teams. Shortcuts and features you need to know. There's a great resource in the folder for this lesson tonight that's like all about just like whatever digital marketer should know, like the tools in Excel. I recommend you guys read that class. So how do we make data insightful? So we're just looking at one set of numbers. It's probably not that insightful. We have to do some comparisons. And we do comparisons to time, marketplace, industry comparisons. We compare different traffic sources, averages, segments. And we look at how our segments are performing. We look at raw numbers in combination with rates and averages. And in presenting it, always what we're looking to do here is we're trying to decide, like, do we have enough data like to determine something? Is it a significant amount to go, okay, here's some conclusions we can draw, here's what we recommend doing, how accurate the stories are really telling. Are we measuring the right things? Like, it's not uncommon that a company starts out saying, hey, these are our 5 KPIs, and then they start tracking it, and they're like, yes, this is not giving us any information. We can't really do anything or improve from here, so maybe we're not tracking the right things. So sometimes that happens, and you have to adjust. So maybe the next point, so, it's all about, like, is there anything in what we're looking at that says, okay, this is our next step. We're looking for something that we can take action on. Are you seeing patterns? Can you clearly explain what the data means? That's what's some things to avoid. So in our industry especially, so digital marketing, there's all kinds of things that we're going to come up against that, like, you're not so totally sure, how Facebook is measuring engagement. What's that formula? In analytics, what's paid reach? They sometimes publicize it and they say it's based on this, and then they change it. Social engagement, reach, really how are they determining these things? And so all I'm really saying here is, like, there's a lot of compound metrics out there. You can talk about them. A lot of them are out there. They're sort of vanity things, especially engagement. You can talk about them, but when you're on the line to, like, present a story of what's going on with the data and what your recommendations are, avoid those. Look at things that you actually can explain. So another thing, to avoid presenting or charging anything that you don't understand. You'd be surprised sometimes, like, we've been in meetings and people are like, oh, here's all the data, and they're like, you ask them a question like, oh, what do you mean? I didn't look at that number. So making sure that it's relevant, that it's measuring the KPIs. Be really careful of, like, making some sort of broad assumption about correlation and causation. So, like, saying that, oh, this happened, so therefore this is the cause behind it, and you don't know that. It's very, because we do end up doing a lot of detective work in digital marketing, because we do have access to so much data. It's really tempting to make these things, well, I bet this is what's going on, but if you're going to go down that route, I'm not sure, maybe I need to make some tests. This is where we start going into, like, okay, now we need to do some tests, because I think this is happening, but I'm not sure. But don't just jump right. Don't make some assumption that just because, give me a good hypothetical, terrible hypotheticals, that just because Facebook ads did well in 1 week, they drove a significant amount of traffic, that's going to be your go-to thing from here on out. It's like the best performing channel. And then last thing, you be careful about presenting too little of information or too much. So when I say unsummarized to summarize, so you can, anything in analytics or any of the tools in the marketplace, like, pull down everything into a spreadsheet. It's just a data dump, right? It just looks like this, just a bunch of stuff. Which it doesn't really become insightful until we can kind of do something like this. This was created with a pivot chart where, in this case, we've got all the months, new stuff in here. We want to get, we want to break down sales by sales channels to see, how the months perform and how those different sales channels perform. But here we don't see this yet, so we've got to do some work to summarize this. And the chart's usually like the first bad, like, and it's only, and in many cases you've got to do this before you can do this. So there's too much raw information here before we get to the next step here. I should do it if I can. We've kind of already hit this in some of our exercises, but this would be an example if there's not enough information here, right? Because, oh, Pinterest 25% conversion rate. That sounds great. Well, why is this not? Why is it not good to, like, go with that assumption that Pinterest is awesome in this case? Right, because we don't know how many visits there were, right? So we want to make sure that we have the full picture, more picture. All right, so moving on. And so what I'm talking about, like data visualization, so this is not an exercise, like I'm not teaching you guys how to make pretty charts, making data pretty. It's really not about that. It's just about telling a very accurate, clear story. And in most cases, like these tools that are in the marketplace, like Excel or anything else that we're using, like those boring color schemes that you think are not that exciting, like they've been tested. They've been tested for different color blindnesses and things like that. So because they work, like this is sort of overwhelming. The only time that I would ever recommend doing custom colors is if you are working with a client or your own company has a very sophisticated color palette that includes, what do I want to say, supporting colors. So you're not just putting like the primary colors of the logo in, like a softer, lighter things that like coordinate and are someone professionally put that together where it is pleasing and it can be used across all materials. That's the only time I would suggest doing custom colors. Otherwise, just keep it pretty simple and use like the palette that's in the tool. So it's not about being pretty, it's just about communicating. Communicating an accurate message. Super basic stuff here. So progress is usually shown going in this direction, so we wouldn't do anything weird in the opposite of that. More or less, if you would do something like this, that's weird. Basic. And so just thinking about that for a minute, so back here. So just thinking about that, I'm going to show you this slide. It's kind of looks very retro, but there's at least 6 things wrong. If we were like presenting this to a client or we were presenting this to our boss about, hey, this is what's going on in sales, right? There's at least 6 things wrong with what's going on here. What's wrong?
The X value.
Right? Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
Come up, give me another one.
Is it percentage? Is it numbers? What is it telling me? I don't like this.
No idea.
I don't like this. So typing pretty is really confusing. Is that going to make those weird columns? It's not standard.
Right?
So, just hit it for a second.
It's like 3 column, like one. Yeah.
The 1990 design.
Yeah. But outside of the horrible bad vintage design, I'll tell you why I have this slide in a minute, but yeah.
It's sideways. Don't this way.
Yeah. This is going up and down and we're showing increases. We've hit like 3 or 4. What else? Less obvious. What's going on with these graphics? Talk to me about these graphics.
Well, it's this responsive customer service and sales increase, so we don't know which of the two. We've got a graphic showing a motorcycle, so we can assume that they're selling something, or we've got.
Well, are we trying to make correlation here? Is that what they're saying? Because of good customer service, we had sales increase, but we don't even know what that is, where it started, where it ended. What else about the graphics are weird?
It's just
Wrong direction. They both are, actually. They both are like, kind of like, wait, if we're supposed to look at here in numbers, like when they're both going here, it's really distracting. One more thing I want to get,
the tube thing is kind of weird. The tube thing, like you can't really tell where it hits.
How I said that. Right. If direction-wise we hit the thing, I discovered.
Oh yeah.
I discovered tonight that I have a pointer. What's wrong with this? Yeah, right? I've gone through like 3 sessions not knowing. What's wrong with this? I'll tell you.
Title is also the help text.
Give me more.
What kind of sales? Yeah. Sales of what?
What year? What product? What's going on, right? Yeah. So a little bit better. We've got some numbers. They were trying to make this correlation that, we had made some investment in customer service and it's showing that sales have increased, so they put a little checkbox. It's still not great, but it's definitely moving in the right direction of how we would typically read a chart. you know when it's, you know, what measurement you're with the actual sales increase over last year, year 11. That business is booming. Business is booming. Whatever crazy vintage thing is. What's wrong with this? If someone was like to quickly ask which one of these stocks is performing better,
Then you know I can't. Yeah, there's no order in that. Scales are.
exactly. Stock shows like this, but this would be a horrible way to like present data like in digital marketing, where it's like, I mean, it's basically so these slides, and sometimes I have this guy coming to speak. He wrote this book called Buying the Charts, and it's basically like all the things that people do to, you know, in investment meetings and things to kind of trick people into like, or distract them away from like what's the accurate truth. So these are things that like people do to like make things more presentable or distract.
It's great if you like to laugh charts.
Huh?
It's good if you're that person.
Well, it's good to not do it, you know, to read it and not do it, and then also know like, okay, this is how I am going to present. You know, it's a funny book. It's a funny book for you. I put it in I put the link to it in the box.
I think I worked with that.
Huh?
I said I think I worked with that.
Really? No, because you worked with all.
No, I'm just saying to somebody, I'm sure that at least 10 people have applied charts to get investors.
Everybody, I mean, and I'd like to get your way on this because you're trying to do this, but like, if you're dealing with a large amount of data, there's so many different ways that you can present it. And of course, if you're responsible for it, you're going to present it in a way that's most favorable, you know, and there's definitely ways to do that. Maybe, oh, we won't show this part. Do you agree or disagree? Like, what's your...
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of times when probably salespeople from Plantation asking for a very specific story.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of temper that a little bit, but it's also our livelihood. So if we can't lie, then we will, just because it's going to help our business the best. But I worked for a firm where it was all had to be very subjective. So we index things to make the differences bigger or something like that.
Right. And I think the point of like talking about this in the context of digital marketing is we all need to ask better questions. So if we're being presented with smaller pieces of data set, or, you know, if we want to be experts and be accountable to our clients or bosses or whatever, like, you know, we present everything, you know. Yeah, you're gonna go, here's the positives, but here's the things that we're working on. And really in digital marketing, there's not negatives. It's just like, these are the things that are working on, and you're paying me to be analysis and like get in here and really look at it. And not only are these the things that we're gonna work on, but I have solutions. You go right, you know, you go to the next point, like, yep, here's some things we discovered that are not great, and here's what the solutions are. So it just like, it does come back to just asking the right questions. If you're presented with, like, clients will do this too, or your boss will do this. Like when you're in a hiring process, they'll present you with one set of numbers because they want you to believe that the company's performing better than it is. And it's like our job to go, well, if I'm going to be responsible for marketing, and you know, I'm on the line, like I need to ask better questions. I need to ask for more information. Well, yeah, great. You're showing me that you've had great sales last year versus this year's. What's the comparison? You know, what did you do with the budget? What kind of budgets have you had to get that? What was the spend in marketing? Like, you can't have information and never take, you know, what you get at face value.
I've done reports where like you see like from 2014 to 2015 like much less satisfaction, but then you look at like it's 2013, it's still higher. So that's one time.
What do you mean on less satisfaction?
Like, so we have a fan satisfaction over year. So year over year, from last year, that fan satisfaction seems to drop down a lot from last year, but from year before, it's still higher than that. So let's say last year. So that's not.
And what you just talked about too, this is like a typical thing we're doing. Like we look at last year's numbers, but we look at comparison at a different time frame too. So there's like, well, you have a couple different you have a couple different ways to analyze the data, so it's not like, I don't want to say this. One is exclusive, like one is like telling you the whole picture. Like you have to look at it and compare it to different things to kind of get the whole picture. All right, so just getting into it, so I'm going to show you. I'll show you from my computer. We'll do a pivot chart, a couple different charts. And then, so before that, so just, simple guidelines here. Make sure that you have headlines, explanations of what the data is, the headlines, clear labels, categories, identifiable numbers and totals, label tabs, formatting, and keep your formatting less is best. You might like increase the size of the header and have your heading have your main title and then have your headings in bold. Do a little shading so that sticks out. Like this is enough, This is enough to like have someone be able to kind of take that in. And keep in mind, like most times, like we're giving them something, but you're talking it through, and you don't want your stuff to be distracting. Like, remember the issue that present. If what you're presenting is super distracting, people will have a hard time listening to you. And if your goal is to get them to sign up on a budget, or approve some next steps, like it's kind of distracting and too much going on. What else? Field names. Make sure you have field names on the column headers in the first row. Records, individual transactional records must be in rows. No blank columns or rows, fields, and names. No blanks like in the middle of stuff because it will be really hard to go and do a pivot chart or do any kind of charting slide. Data set must be surrounded by blank columns and rows for the same reason. Excel worksheet columns and row headers. So typically, like what we're doing, or how we would use Excel. So we use the basic stuff. So we do pivot charts, bar charts, line charts, columns, stuff, pies. Those are like the typical things that we're gonna see in the data set. And with that being said, so I'm just going to show you how to do a pivot chart. So what's in the lesson folder? So the same data set that I'm going to use as a sample is in there. If you guys wanted to play with it, I'm not going to give you a true homework assignment for this, but there's extra credit data sets in there that if you wanted to play with. One of them is like a digital set where you can come back and go, okay, this is what's going on. I've stopped using it because it's not inclusive, like there's lots of missing parts to it, so people get into it and they're like, I feel like this is going on, but I don't know, there's just too much missing stuff in it, but it would be a good experience for you guys to like plug around in there and then ask me questions like, hey, is this how I should be reading it? And then this set that I'm using is actually in the box too, which is called sample set, so if you
is that the sample sales data?
Sample sales data, yeah. So if you wanted to like go home and like practice making charts, you could do that. So you guys raise your hand. Okay, it's okay. All right, so let's do a pivot chart. And again, like I said, I'm going through this fast because I know everybody has a different version. So your buttons are probably not going to be the same as my buttons, but we're going to have a lot of exercise time in this class tonight, so we think I can get around, Jacqueline and I can get around and see what guide you where it is. Okay, so talking about pain. Okay, so see what I see? Where you go?
version do you have for this?
It's the latest version, because I just updated everything. And went to Office 360s and on paper every year, so. But I don't know, I'll look it up, the exact number. All right, so pivot chart. So in order to do a pivot chart, you really just can click on anywhere, like so whatever data set you're gonna use, you can just click anywhere on it. And then you would go to insert, you pick pivot chart. So what it's gonna ask you is this the right data set? So it's got, it's showing that this is the area that's selected. And I'm like, yep, that's what I want to use. And then the next
one. Cut and paste, so that was when I was having problems with trying to create one from something that I had. What if we want to do, A through E down to 10, and you want to skip items 11 through 15?
So you would have you would either have to create breaks, like yeah. So you need, but if you're like trying, are you saying you want to like take a grouping and take another grouping?
Yeah,
not going to do that. No.
Maybe making up the table.
Yeah, you probably what you want if you had a data set like this and you wanted to pull 10 or so lines from the top and 3 or 4 on the bottom, and a couple in the middle, then I would copy and paste over. Right. So it's selected, and then it's asking me, do I want to open up a new worksheet or put it on an existing one? I'm going to say existing, and then I need to tell them where I want to put it, so I would select that space. And then something like this is going to open up. And I think what the example, so we were going to look at sales by sales channel. So my rows be the month, and then sales channels my columns, and I want to know revenue, and I would just move that in there, and it automatically does that. On Mac, and I'm just going from memory here because I don't know everybody's different computers. I think it's a little bit yours looks better than this. I think your columns, like your labels, automatically show where mine says column label, and then on a PC, you have to take this next step, which is go into the design of the pivot table and go to report layout and change it to tabular, and then it actually is now named what they were named originally. It's another thing that I know that's kind of different.
What was the thing where you had to hit location?
What was the so it's just
I said mine just does existing worksheet, and then I have to type whatever location.
so is there a field?
It's just a box, I guess.
Yeah, so then it says existing worksheet, or the bottom button above it says
Existing worksheet.
so new worksheet would open up a new worksheet.
The other way didn't do it.
Existing, because you have to select, I had to select somewhere. I had to
Find a
first
spot
to
there.
tell it where I wanted it to go. Okay? That makes sense? And
Yeah.
then from here, like the thing that you, if it's not the same on the Mac, the thing, it's a right click on a PC. The other thing that we would probably want to know how to do is just right click somewhere and like change format cells. So like maybe put dollar signs in, and that's all going to be the right click, format cells, the currency, add dollars. If you're not seeing it, if you didn't follow along, it's okay, because you're going to have a real data set to do as an exercise as a group, and we'll learn together. The other thing that I think is different on PC that Mac people don't have is recommended charts. So I could actually, so the next thing, so if I wanted to take this now and do a bar chart, and I'm on the data set already, and if I click on recommended charts, it actually starts to like say, hey, you might want to do this. It's such a cheat. It's like ridiculous cheat, because it's showing you exactly what information will be pulled down. You go, yeah, that's the one that I wanted to do. You don't have to really know how to format it.
Where'd you put that recommended chart? What tab is it under?
It's under, so if you're on an insert, see where it is right here? Are you on a PC?
Insert. See it?
So I think the last 3 versions of Excel,
haven't updated.
yeah,
Yeah.
Might be a reason to update.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that'll run.
I'm on 2007, do you think it's?
I'd say it's later, because Tracy, when I updated mine, I was on 7, I didn't have it. I didn't have it, so it's later than 2007. Yeah. What's the latest version? There might have been one in between the two. So okay to move on, guys? Questions?
That other thing didn't work out. That location thing didn't work.
My notes fly. Oh, that's good. They were about to. Okay.
Right, yeah, because there was a box on my phone. It wants me to type something.
Yeah, that's what.
So you could just pick a field and go G2.
Yeah.
Do that. Can I? Are there questions, or can I keep moving?
Then it says choose some fields. Like, what did you do to choose the fields on the list?
You know what? Let me show you when you're in your group, okay? Because I don't want to like this is where this lesson gets disrailed very quickly because everybody's so different. Did you watch any of the 3 videos?
I watched like 5 seconds while I was downloading everything.
They would be really helpful. And now that you know that your version, what I recommend is like watching the video.
2007.
Yeah, it says Excel 2007, how to do this chart. Okay? So what's the next example? So column bar. The other thing I think to know, switching around. Like live presentation. There we go. All right. Another kind of little, let's say it's a shortcut. So if I wanted to now do a column, clustered column chart, and immediately, like I said, in the newer versions, like I click on it and it's already presenting exactly what I was looking to do. But another little feature is if you right click on the actual chart, let's say you pull something down and that's not what you want, you can change it from there too and do, change it into a bar chart. And all I did to get that is I showed it what data set that I was interested in charting, and click on insert, pick the chart, and like I said, it already kind of populated what I was looking to with the chart there. The only time that sometimes it doesn't work out that way is when we're doing line charts, like you're kind of comparing 2 different sets of numbers. Let me kind of give you an example of that. So, so I selected this data set and see how it came in and it charted, like really we just wanted to see sales, for these years, right? But because there were 2 different columns of data, it assumed that I wanted to chart the other one. So this is a scenario that happens quite a bit. So if something like this happens, so there's you would, and it's not a right click on a map, right? It's like control, is it a right click? Control, what is it?
Click.
Control click, okay. So I would go into format, this is so I right click. So what I'm trying to achieve here is like, okay, that's not what I wanted to happen. It's mapped 2 different series of numbers. You really want the years down here, and you don't want it came in wrong. It came in as just numbering, right? So the next like most important like little tool that you need to be able to find in your Excel is what's called select data. So I want to tell it like, hey, we've selected the wrong data, I want to change that. So when I go in here and I'm basically saying, look, I don't want you to plot that series. So it's telling me that the blue is series 1 and the red is series 2. Red is what I want. I want to show sales, right? So I don't want that series 1 even plotted, so I would take that out. But then over here, what I want to do is say, you know, the numbers were wrong. I actually want you to use this information. So I select that and say OK. Now you can see how the years are there. So that data select and then being able to go and to right click and get to the point where you can like do some formatting, like the two most, once you pick the chart, those are the two most important tools like in Excel. Make sense? What else? If say I wanted to do a different chart, let's say I wanted to do a pie chart, show you. Still like elementary school. Let's do a pie chart. All right, so I created a pie chart. In this case, like no labels came in. So I don't want that. I want to be able to show some labels. So I click on that middle part and get to format data series, or actually add data labels. And it went ahead and added numbers, but maybe I want something different. So now I want to format data labels, and it's going to open up a label box where now I can add percentages. I can actually move them around. Right now they're best fit, but maybe I want them on the outside ends. And what else is missing there? Maybe category name. So it's like, it's either, most of the things that you're going to do in formatting is a right click to get to formatting, or if things come in the wrong way, you're looking for data select. When we get to the exercise, if this is not new for you, and this is, excuse me, if this is new for you, I'll help you find it on your individual computers, like how to do this. Let's talk. So, break slide here. We don't need a break yet. Let's talk about. So those of us, you know, let's go around the room and each person share a shortcut that they like and that they've used in Excel. And once I hear what everybody shares, then I'll share a couple of mine that I tend to use over and over again. Up here. I don't want. Do you have one of mine? I could start at the side of you. Think of a shortcut. Like, what's this?
Always use the FX symbol
To get formulas. All right, let me go back into the data set. So that's the thing that you use the most. So not really a shortcut, but it's just a tool. Like you're adding up totals. So you would always go up to the top.
I only use it for budgeting, so I'm always using my Excel often.
Okay. All right, that's good. Good start. Tracy, do you think? Okay.
Find, so if I need to like populate things, I think it's Control F on my MacBook. Let's say I wanted to find and then find next, like I'm searching for a month or something in particular. I want to see how many times it's been mentioned there.
I use find a lot too. So on a PC, so the Control F didn't work, but it's home ribbon tab, and find and select is in the corner. I use that quite a bit too.
Now there is one shortcut I do is you can just drag down in the formula.
That was going to be one that I shared.
That's
yeah.
I mean, that's, I have a P&L statement that I do. It's empty, it just drags the formula down. So
That's what, yeah, so what she's talking about is, So did you guys know that if you started a series, so dates, numbers, days of the week, it starts to pick up. In series, you have to have 3 for it to pick up. So if I had January, February, and I was creating a calendar, you see how it starts to build in? You guys know that it would do that? And the same is true for days of the week, series, if you're doing like a number series, if it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, it's gonna pick it up.
But like for me, like I have the top of the formula, it's just adding those across.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that one too. I'm gonna show you some form, and I'm gonna show you how to, if you don't want it to carry across, what you need to do too.
So I have another.
That's a fun one. This one you write down.
Similar, it's a function, but because I do a lot of social media stuff and we're limited to character counts, I'll create a column that will tell me, like one will be for Twitter, so is this 140 characters or less? It'll automatically populate like what the words equal in terms of characters. And then you can do the same thing for like Facebook and stuff like that. So if you're, trying to pre-plan your content and make sure that it fits rather than having to go into Twitter all the time, you can automatically set that function.
So if you go over it, it's telling you.
So basically, it'll just tell if you go over, it'll say 172 characters, and then you know that you have to go back and shorten your text.
That's cool.
So it's. I can actually let me pull it up.
I just use this for myself.
So you would like type something here.
That's good when we get to content strategy, but since we're here on Excel, wrap text. That's another one I often do is wrap text to do that as well. Okay, and then here you're like equals total count. What do you think that means for this column? So you do equals count. Aha. Yes. Okay. Figure out what the function is, but that's in essence, it's one of those functions. It should be count, but it'll pull. So what is it? It's counting. You're gonna tell it to count the character, right?
Yeah.
Right now, it's probably thinking it's got to count a number. Is that what?
So here, if you go to categories, go back. So I think above that, select the category. Text functions.
There you go.
It's text. Okay. Like the actual.
I'll check on I'm using it in numbers, which is the Mac version of it. But yeah, it already makes like text and characters with some. Go back to text. Go back to the categories, text, and then character CHAR. Select the right here.
Yeah, see if they are.
And it will call them the L8. We're getting close. You know what? Put it in updates. Because it's a good one. It's a good. Use the what? We're getting close. I'll definitely put it in updates. I'd like to see that. This is why this is always a fun class to teach, because there's all kinds of little discovery. So wait, are you up? Yeah.
So edit sheet is length.
Oh yes, length too.
What is it?
Okay, length. That's what it is in Mac. So length.
So back where you were.
You go to LE. I guess you could just type in LEN instead of char.
LEN?
Huh?
LEN, that's it?
Yep. And then we have the cell number.
That's the right cell number?
Yep.
All right.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Teamwork.
So I see what you're doing. So you're running 2 columns, so then when you start typing the other one, it's just running the number right next to it. So
Right.
if I went here, so if I wanted to bring the formula over,
Yeah,
I started typing.
exactly. And so every month, you
Yeah,
know.
see, that's like in the formula.
Yeah, I like
Ooh,
it.
I have another one too.
You got another one? Well, don't hog it.
Sorry,
Let's
I
let
know.
them through. Yeah,
Yeah, what's the good use for that?
huh?
Why would you use, I mean, I know how I use it before, but I'm gonna use it.
Her example was a perfect
Content
example.
calendars.
So when you're writing up like headlines and or you're gonna do a post for a tweet, you gotta have it like 140 characters. And actually, like it's so because of like all the noise and like how we're always up against like so much when we're communicating. The exercise of actually writing a tweet, even if like you're not doing it for your company, like just having a spreadsheet of writing like this, like trying to say the least amount of very limited character count, it makes you an amazing, savvy communicator and a good digital marketer. I mean, seriously, like I had one today that I was like, I was convinced that I wasn't going to be able to get it down to 140, but once you kind of like, you've done this for a while, like you just won't step away until you do, right? I got it down because there's always a way to say what you need to say or say more with less amount of words, and this is a great little thing. Like I would love to just keep a spreadsheet or if I think it's a great training thing to actually train people for social media, just to run a spreadsheet like this, to write statements, messages and statements, or how you're going to, the same post, you could take the same like article that you're going to share and have just a list of 10 different headings that you're going to use throughout your social calendar, like when you're going to retweet and post that. So that's how I use it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, content calendar wise, what we're doing is we're putting like column for Twitter. You're putting like the column for the day of the month, day of the week. You have your Twitter column which populates this, and then you also have like your Facebook post. So you have one place where everything exists, and the other workaround that you could do is maybe go into something like Hootsuite or whatever, because it's going to populate, and then you can schedule there. But if you're dealing with a client and you need their feedback, this sort of allows you to give them something to review, and then you then plug all this into like the social
It's editorial calendar.
And then and if it is for approvals, and they start, well, why didn't you say this? It's like, I don't remember what words. Like they see it right away. They see the number. It's cool. I love that. Did you have one? That you're like, I just saw the thing. You have one now?
Well, I use a sort filter.
Sort filter. Yeah, and that you're gonna do that tonight. You're gonna take data and like sort it and look at it a different way for sure. Always doing different sorts. You can do that like in segmenting.
Man shift down.
Man shift down, get all the
highlight or over whatever you
Yep.
You're not just sitting there running scroll. Oh, what does that do? It's the best thing ever. Like just commit that, just highlight, say you're in like column, whatever, like the Z or something. You want to highlight the whole. Yeah, we can do that. But it's
it's Control Shift and a PC.
Instead of like dragging it. So you just click, you just click on the cell. Control, if you hold down control, use the arrow key, it'll see the end of the table.
There it is. Yeah, so it's Control arrows.
Yeah, the control to get anywhere, but if you hold shift all your people select.
And by the way, so both the arrows, I went all the way down and I went all the way back up.
Yep, so I think you go up right as well.
You go up and right. So you do, like, we don't have a lot of data here. Okay. All right. Everything?
Awesome a lot.
Awesome.
If I don't have to repeat a word, just type it once and then select it and then select all the levels that I want to use.
Do that a lot. What if, let's do it. You ever like open up a sheet and you see this? You know how to, instead of just moving it over, if you get right on the line and double click, it will pop it out as long as it needs to be. You guys know that? So, like that. So normally what we do, if you don't know, you just kind of drag it yourself, but you don't know like how much space you need in doing that. But if you get right on the line, so you get that black arrow and just double click, it pops it out. How the width that needs to be. Daisy. You've got it.
I mean, I use an Excel all day.
Yeah.
My favorite photo is next match. So then you think of like, if you have like one list and then another list, each other and they're like completely out of order, so it's like in the same order, you can use the VLOOKUP function.
The what?
It's called VLOOKUP. And then it'll like basically sort second and third worth of data, so that it's in the same order.
Where is that at?
It's one of the formulas. It's like.
Oh, so it's, I gotcha. So you go to formula,
Yeah.
and then which one here? Which category do you think?
Lookup and reference.
Lookup and reference.
Those page
There's VLOOKUP and H lookup.
And what's the difference between H and D?
So like the VLOOKUp is like it'll look up something in the vertical column, and then
That makes
H
sense.
will look up something in the horizontal
That's a good one. Do you want to share another one? Because I know you are using this all the time.
column. Maybe like I use conditional formatting a lot. For something like Jacqueline's, it's like you're to have that formula on the side to show you how long it is. You can condition, like, I would conditional format it so that it's over 140 and it'll turn red. So that goes, you gotta go answer it.
So conditional format's really like you're putting, it's like you're setting up the formatting for the whole document.
Yeah.
And you're putting, so I think,
Probably get a pivot table too,
Yeah.
because if you make your, let's say your example, if you put conditional formatting and color scale on the table, then it'll just show you how to answer which ones are high and which ones are low.
So where's conditional format?
It's on the top.
it has its own, it's on the tab. You do icons.
Yeah, you can do that, you can do color scale icons.
So this is a section I haven't used at all, but I bet you like this would be a good thing to just watch a the video on just this. I think one of the reasons that I haven't, because it's mostly like I'm pulling down overall data and trying to like quickly get to something and summarizing it. I'm trying to think of a scenario where I'd be like setting up the formatting of the document and not, because it's not really charting, it's more like, yeah. This is something I don't know about. Where are we? Anyway,
You talked about how to like move from left to right, like how to do it. But if you want to make all of them the same, you could like, did we call this before? That we can all have the same?
the width of all of them, same note.
Okay, so click on A, now shift, and click on E. And now, use that.
You want me to click on the whole column?
Yeah, so click on A
Okay.
with your little arrow, and hold down shift and click on E.
Hold on, shift and click on B.
E. Sorry, E.
Oh, you don't want me to click on B?
No, no, E.
Okay. So shift and then click on E.
Okay, so now you got it all selected. Now go over the line in between at the top.
Or you
Or
want
sorry, the line in between P and E or whatever, one of those lines. The separator line.
Okay, here,
Nope, up.
here.
Yep. Now you can slide it back and forth
And
and make sure
all,
all go at the same time. Or do the same.
yep. That's a good one.
Can I share one more?
Yeah, did everybody get that one though? Because that's a really good one. Need me to do it again?
You double click it also in all different sides.
You could
Oh,
what?
I didn't
If
know
you
that.
double click it on the divider, it'll make all different sides.
On the, on like a divider between a column? But that went back to its original. So when I just double clicked, it went back to what it was because it was all selected. And you're saying to get them the same size, double click on it?
No, so you slide it in and out and all the same size, but it was already like that. And it's smaller, each column is the right size for the section side.
But it means do that. Okay. What was the other thing we can share?
You talked about finding slots, but did you talk about finding replace that?
We did talk about find and replace.
This is like, say you have website sales labeled that way, but you want to different, you know, change the label, or you do it that way, that way. Oh, yeah, that's not really.
Yeah. Do you use that?
I use it in Excel and I use it in Word doc.
I use find and replace.
Find and replace from
Or just use find your websites.
Kasha.
No, that's one I use all the time.
She reading your mind over there?
Like all of these. She's writing them down, I'm like.
Alright. So where we go, Robert? Nothing
You
fancy?
guys talked about tabs, like
We did those.
and then control
Control K what? Hyperlinks. Control K.
Oh.
That's cool. Alright, and last one, you have anything to share? No? Alright, I told Tracy, so I'll show you how to, there's one last thing I want to show you, I'm sure. Alright, so let's say, so instead of like copy, let's say you have a scenario that you don't want to copy the same formula. So I'm working in, sorry, I covered up as soon as I said that. I'm working in this little area right here. And so total, so I want to get total, these are some sales numbers up above, some very low sales numbers. And I want to do a total, let's get back to the sum here. Okay, so I want the rest of those to be the same, or I want them to add up the sum, so I can carry that over, and it carries over the formula. But what if I was going to add tax now, and it's not the same scenario? I don't want it to carry over, I want it to like use that 6%. So this is what I would do to do that. And this is kind of weird. This one you're going to have to write down because it's not. It doesn't. It's not. To me, it's not logical that that's what makes it work. So, so I would go. So in this case, I want to do the total times the 6%, which is this cell. So I would do, and then if I was just, if that's all I needed to do. Oops, I didn't do that. Sorry. Times 6%. Okay. And that gives me my tax. Now, that is not going to work on the rest of them. And if I wanted it to hold that 6, what I do is I put just the letter, I put a $sign on both sides of the letter, not the whole thing. This is why I think it's not intuitive. It feels like we put it on the whole entire cell, but it's not. It's just on the letter. So now that I do that, so you'll see that it's still the same number, but if I was to carry that over now, that it figures out that. So instead of, so all you need to do to trigger it to like not like go in a series and pick a certain cell, or you could do it with different, like a certain number. I could have probably just put the percentage there. You put the dollar signs. Put dollar signs just around just around the letter. That's the weird part, yeah, because you would think you'd want to put it around the whole cell thing.
So the $sign locks either the row or the column. So when you put it for the I, it's locking the I. But when you put it on the 18, it's locking the 18. When you put what 18 is it's not around the eye.
It's,
like
I got it.
the eye.
That makes sense. So it's basically the dollars treating both parts of the cell.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so if you took out the dollar sign and put 18, and you pulled it down, then it would then change the 18 and pull it out to 19.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I just have to have that. Do we have this chart though? I don't see this chart.
The data,
Yeah, I don't see what sheet this is.
I can get, if I didn't put it in here, it's called short.
Because it makes it easier
To have something to practice. But yeah,
I'll relate to what I wrote
I'll
down.
put exactly, I'll save this where this is, and I'll put exactly this in the folder. It's called shortcut samples.
Yeah, it totally makes sense when you see it, but right down D and you're like, okay, where?
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that in. Then we get Jacqueline's great one. And you had the last final one
So-
you wanted to share too. Then.
Because of the purposes for which I use it, which typically will be like content calendars or stuff, but this could also work for inventory. There was a way that we could do a drop down in one of the columns, and I'll have to definitely post that on our
Oh, you're going
update.
to tell us and you're just going to tease us?
So like we would come up with content buckets
Okay.
for different brands. One would be like brand awareness, one would be like lifestyle, product use. And again, we need to show the client, how each of these posts that we're sharing are associated with those particular content buckets. So rather than having to like type them in every single time, we would just create like what you know how to do this. Create like a drop down arrow so that you have the options in each of those boxes that you can just check every time you streamline it. Data validation. Okay.
You're going to share that in update?
Yes.
Okay. So now would be a good time to take a break. I'm going to come back and group you guys up. I'm going to give you an actual set of data, and you're going to have to come up with some of your own conclusions and present it. But I'll give you more details on that. Okay. Now would be a good time to take a break. And I'll put this worksheet in there. I know, really, that's the first time that ever happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is different. This is already on.
Yeah.
So, this is the best way. So it's like we're very big success and something that we want to compensate for that. See, because it's still running the revenue.
Yeah. Oh, this is the first.
It's better than fighting.
It's really better.
That's it.
Yeah. Making some changes.
it's not a really good so users can make that. For him, he's saying what you can. So So I'm glad I was able to secure a larger number of this is great. It's a increase in budget. I'm going to have more time now than this is a good discussion we had. Just my yeah, that's you know, it's great to do that. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so you come into class on Wednesday.
I am. I'll come back to
Yeah, I get it.
I just right now, I feel like
Well, I hope he's good.
I'll let you know.
But not if it's not good. Well, you guys have the other thing? Well, that was okay. It's okay. And you guys are really fine.
It's like scholarships. This was like all last year, so much of 2014.
That is great. That's a little early. This is all happening. You have to be known. Stage 5,
They also may want to see
yeah, he finds a judge, they can find those.
yeah, for sure.
It's fun to have to
Yeah, I think I can still remember everybody. I had a music person with there. Sometimes I was in touch with her.
So I'm working in entertainment PR, and I started that. So social media was a weird thing that we had to move into, like, so I have things that managers and agents and customers want to see numbers go up.
Yeah.
And they want to see engagement go up, so that shows that they've got some sort of.
Yeah.
But we really honest with you, I have 8 clients.
Uh-huh.
All my other coworkers and I, so.
Yeah.
It's 15.
Yeah.
They're away with some sort of like just getting them with like targeting ads.
Yeah.
Targeting ads and the reporting company don't even want to do it. They're already saying. Maybe 1 or 2.
They probably don't even care if you bought them. They really don't.
They wouldn't,
Yeah.
but we would never be still getting.
Right.
But,
It depends what stores. I mean,
do smell reports and like kind of insert some like honest square stuff on Instagram and sort of like reading and like, here's what we have. But the music one, when that comes into play, it's very bad to drive this somewhere towards straight views. And in some cases, sales, whatever, it's really content, but they want to see that their investment is being sourced. That's why I would be that.
right. Go ahead, finish your.
Just to say, for when you're dealing with like people on TV and stuff like that, there's a way you can monetize your social presence. They can get paid. I mean, this girl this weekend who spoke at the Costume Guild was the costume director for Pretty Little Liars. She had an $80,000 apparel line deal, and she gets paid by this company to like from $500 to like $2,000 to send tweets because she has over 300,000 Twitter followers. I was like, okay, I can get paid to tweet.
All right. There's just a couple more slides here before we get to an activity. A little bit out of order. So, in why we're going to talk about best data presentations, because you guys are going to do this. As I said, you're going to give a data set and include some of these things down here. But the best ones like account for what did things cost, what were the efforts that were done to get the results, the revenue that's in the findings, an explanation of what's going on in the data set, and then what's next. Always this like recommendation of what we're going to do next. And before we go into it, I just want to present some like, let's do these together as a class. Like, what's kind of wrong with this sort of data set? If we were going to present this to a client or a boss, what's going on here? I guess I'm kind of hinting it here, but your face said it best. It's like
I have no idea what I'm looking at, and I'm a marketer.
and
So
cautious too. Cautious and very like expressive. It's like if it hurts your brain to look at the data, it might not be the best way to present it. That's the first one. Like what is going on? Like this is really ineffective. We don't usually show revenue that way. We show it kind of increasing. Like there's just like they're using the horizontal and the vertical ways that we're not used to seeing, and these are just like I don't know what's that old targeting?
I know what it is. Yeah, targeting.
Yeah, what is it? What's the old thing?
Tetris.
What's the
Tetris. Tetris.
What is that? And we don't know. And then some other things too. What campaign F? What is it? Like, what were these things? Like, so the labeling's off. What's the cause behind some of these increases? Why is the insight you're presenting important? So hard to say like what the call to action is. It just feels like we're missing a lot. Just confusing way to present. What about this one?
No.
What's off about this?
I think it's covering itself up. That red bar is covering up some number.
Oh, you think, yeah. Oh, you think there's something behind there? Yeah. There's a little bit of something here.
Yeah, it's something.
I've never seen that before, but there's probably something there. But what else is going on?
Should I know what LM is and LY? Should I know what LM is?
Last month, last year.
So, why is it a bar and then there's
It's like why are some red and some green?
Well, I can tell you why, and this is part of, let me see what I have to say for it.
visits in one month time?
We don't know that. But back to yours. So they're trying to show negative numbers in red, but it's really weird that they're like the same length and things like we would typically see things that are negative like below a line and then positive above the line. So it's just kind of an ineffective way to show this, because it looks like, you know, if you look at it, if you didn't know that, you know, they're making us assume that we know that red is negative and green is go and positive, but we did know that when we assumed like, oh, they did the same amount of sales here, but one actually is a negative number. And she's right, it's covered up. Because you see all the negative ones in this column, but you don't see the one for the long bar there.
Sometimes you just need a graph. You know?
Yeah.
This is the time when you could actually use that conditional format if you was talking about it. Make every cell less than 0.
Yeah.
That would solve your problem.
Of what this is, yeah. I agree with
And
that.
plus, what's confusing me about the red and green is that like that is standard accounting practice. Like your number, it's red is going to be in parentheses and red to reflect that you're like negative. So it almost looks to me like it's associated with the sales, which are positive, which is what was confusing me. It looked like sales and those red bars went together, and the columns were just the organization
So
of it.
it's like, it needs to say this is sales for this month, the month of May, and then this is what it was last year, and then this is what it maybe shown instead of like the percentage.
I mean, I agree with Francesca's saying, like, do away with these columns, but the way it is right now, you would think that the graph is correlating to sales columns because it's following it, and then it looks like sales versus last month, the green and everything responds to that. And then it just looks like the end, because we're so used to seeing like a total at the end that we would assume that maybe that's some sort of.
So there's a lot of assumptions to be made on this. Anyone else have something you want to point out?
I guess just like a thing of style, like I wouldn't ever show this much data in one table, and if I were, I would make the color chart be whatever is the most important thing. So I don't know, like is sales like what story you're trying to tell there? Is the sales the thing or is it conversion rate? So if it's conversion rate, then maybe I should make the bar charts be conversion rate.
Super excellent point. So just, you know, you're kind of telling us the same way we tell stories on the consumer facing side. We're telling stories when we're presenting data and starting simple, like here's what the sales were, here's where the sales were by channel. But like, yeah, there's maybe too much information here. We could have broken it down into different charts, or maybe not even charts and just explained it. But overall, it's like it's just a lot coming at you, and we're not like we're not positioning the data in a way that we can tell a good story and like walk somebody through. So these are just like kind of 13 things that people will do wrong when they're presenting data, working with spreadsheets, exceeding the boundaries of a single screen, supplying inadequate context, displaying excess details or precision, choosing a deficient measure, choosing an inappropriate display media, introducing meaningless variety, using poorly designed display media, encoding qualitative data inaccurately, arranging data poorly, highlighting important data inefficiently. They all start to sound the same, don't they? Cluttering the display with useless decorations, misusing, overusing color, and designing an unattractive visual display. What's wrong with this? The label? It's labeled, but is it? Huh? They're actually different colors. But when would we have a 0% budget? Like, is this weird? Like, are we maybe talking about dollars? And, you know, we had a baseline, the budget is, it's just a weird way to report this. So are they saying, what are they saying here? There's no budget? We were trying to, report revenue in relation to budget? Like, it's really hard to say what's going on.
It's not like always stocks.
Huh?
It was like stock. It's like how's your local portfolio? It's like market average.
Right.
Always it's not, you can't understand.
Yeah.
have to have the baseline value. See what they're trying to do, trying to like record like, you know, peaks and valleys. Like, it's like sales or something like that. 19 would probably be Cyber Monday or something, but like they don't have baseline value, which is $100, so it makes it pretty convenient.
Yeah. Agree with that. All right, what about this one? What?
Looks like
Which one is revenue, which one is op?
Every time I look at this, I just think of candy.
I do too. Gobstoppers.
Yeah, that's what
I thought of right away. Gobstoppers.
So, yeah, it's just picking the like some people just get crazy with chart. Like I think you have the best, but sometimes you don't need to chart stuff, and certainly picking the wrong one, this just doesn't do anything for anybody. You don't know what's going on.
You also know, like,